In this video, I'm going to go over the comparative and superlative and what is the easiest way you can start capturing meaning through using the adjective and how you can transfer the adjective to the superlative form. So comparative is usually when you're saying something like this house is bigger than the other house, or this book is smaller than the other book. But the superlative is when you are trying to say this is the shortest. In Arabic, there is also a similar format. When you are comparing, you would only use min, and I have about 4 different categories that we're going to learn. But if we're doing the comparative or we're doing the superlative, we're actually using only one form for both of them. And this form would be as أفعال. So the pattern would be أفعال. The categories that would follow this pattern are قصير, طويل, tall, قصير, short, سهل, easy, صعب, difficult, غالي, expensive, عالي, high, غني, rich, قوي, strong, and حلو, sweet. But each category has a different pattern. When it comes in the actual adjective, all you get is an adjective. And like we learned in previous lessons, when you get an adjective, the adjective occurs after a noun. But in the comparative form or the superlative form, we only focus on using this form, which is أفعال. But there's a very tiny difference between the comparative and the superlative. But first we'll go over how we're going to change from an adjective to the comparative form, and then I'll show you how you're going to make it superlative. When I say that these two are quite similar, because we have to remember that there is hamza and alif at the beginning, and then we go أقصر, أقصر, shorter. So if I'm going to say shorter, I say أكثر. In English, for the comparative, you use ER, right? And then in Arabic, you would also need to use shorter than. Shorter than in English, so you will need to say than. In Arabic, you have to say من. أكثر من. أكثر من. So أخي أقصر من أختي. My brother is shorter than my sister. So over here I'm saying أقصر. If I want to say طويل, I have to say أطول. As you can see, there is no ya. The ya is in the adjective form, but as soon as I make it comparative, there is no ya. Even when I make it superlative, there is no ya. But how can I make superlative? In English, you would say he is the shortest. But in Arabic, let me grab my eraser. There we go. In Arabic, you would need to say the shortest as well. So I'll just write down how I'm using superlative. So in comparative in English, we said comparative, we need ER. And of course, we need than. That's in English. In Arabic, what you need to do is you need to think that is actually alif at the beginning of the word. Then is min, which is also a separate word. Then you go like أكثر من. So I'll write my sentence, which is أخي أكثر من أختي. Then I will show you how the superlative is going to be quite similar in some ways and different in one simple way. So I will say أخي أقصر من أختي. So my brother is shorter than my sister. So over here أخي أقصر من أختي. Over here the in English, like I said, is the alif with hamza, and then the format of the comparative has no ya. Like you can see, there's no ya in here. When I move to the superlative form, superlative, in English you would say he's the shortest. The shortest. In English you need to use ist, right, to make it superlative. And you also need to use the. There is no ist over here in Arabic, but there is a reference for the. So I would say al. And you see how we said and est could be the same? They're similar. I could say that and est, I can make them or refer to them. Both of them have alif as a reference. So you would say al-aqsar. He is the shortest. And in this example, the shortest comes at the end. So you say أخي هو الأقصر. My brother is the shortest. أخي هو الأقصر. Or you can say أخي الأقصر. If you want to finish your statement, you say أخي هو الأقصر or أخي الأقصر. My brother is the shortest. Or you can add additional information and say أخي الأقصر بين إخوتي, amongst my siblings. So you would say أخي الأقصر بين, between or amongst, بين إخوتي. And over here I'm saying أخي الأقصر بين إخوتي أو أخي هو الأقصر. My brother is the shortest. And in this case I am referring to EST in English and ER in English as well, only by using Hamza at the beginning of the adjective. And both, like I said earlier, there is something in common between comparative and superlative. Both of them do not have ya. And here's the fun fact. The superlative and comparative do not take gender. So if you're saying أختي أقصر من أخي or أخي أقصر من أختي, nothing is going to change in the comparative. Even when you're saying the superlative, أختي هي الأقصر, أخي هو الأقصر. Both of them will have the exact same form or the exact same word without reference to gender. The other patterns come in categories. Sahel has no ya, so you're fine. Sa'ab has no ya, so all you have to say is أصعب, harder. And of course you need min, أصعب من. هذا الدرس أصعب من الدرس الماضي. This lesson is harder than the past lesson. Then you would need to say أسهل, easier. غالي, you have two things you need to get rid of, the alif and the ya. So you have to say أغلى, أغلى. Do you see? And there is no sukun, and you have to put alif maqsura. أغلى. The pattern of the comparative is أفعال, but you, in some cases, you have the ya, غالي, so you make it alif maqsura. غني, غني. أغنى. And you can see that these two categories, they do agree. This one and this one. غالي, عالي, غني, قوي. And of course, حلو, sweet, will also have the exact same format. And you would need to say أحلى, أحلى, more beautiful, sweeter. And then over here you have the waw at the end, you have the ya at the end, you have the ya, you have the alif long vowel, but none of them have to be transferred to the word once it goes into the comparative form as well as the superlative form. The only difference between superlative and comparative is that in Arabic, I'll show you again. In Arabic, the superlative form does not include min, but the comparative form includes من. And here I'll write it. Let's see, I can use this one. So I can say بناية, okay? This building, هذه البناية, هذه البناية عالية. I can say عالية. This is an adjective. هذه البناية عالية. This building is high. If I want to say this is the highest building, here's my sentence. I'm making it superlative. This is the highest building. Then what I'm doing is I need to use the superlative form. The superlative form takes alif lam. So watch how I'm gonna write this. هذه البناية هذه البناية هذه هذه this is هذه الأعلى, the highest. I'm trying to think about ways you could say that this is هذه الأعلى, this is the highest, or هذه البناية هي الأعلى. So if both people know that you're talking about the building, you can say هذه الأعلى هي, this is the highest. هذه البناية هي الأعلى. This building is the highest. And over here, هي refers to the building. If I can say, I want to say the masculine form, then I would say هذا المسجد هو الأكبر. Is the biggest. This masjid is the biggest. هذا المسجد هو. Over here, the is masculine because it refers to masjid. But if I'm saying this building is higher than this masjid, I can say هذه البناية أعلى من هذا المسجد. هذه البناية أعلى من هذا المسجد. ولكن هذه البناية هي الأعلى. But this building is the highest. And you can do the comparative by avoiding alif lam. Comparative has no alif lam. Superlative has the alif lam. So you just have to be quite careful where you would use the superlative and where you would use the comparative. This is superlative, and the comparative has no alif lam, but the comparative you need to say min. And I hope this helps you, but remember the most important parts are these 4 categories of adjectives. And if you have seen the list of Arabic adjectives in Arabic Khatawat, there is a playlist with 18 different sets. You will see that certain adjectives come as short adjectives and others come as long adjectives. We're only doing the short ones. There are about 14 different patterns of adjectives, but we only included about 1. This is just 1 pattern because it rhymes with أفعال. And when it comes to having the adjective as a normal word without any influence by the comparative form or the superlative form, of course the pattern changes, because here قصير goes with فعيل, سهل goes with فعل, عالي, and then غني. You have different patterns. But just remember to group them in categories. And if you have سهل, صعب, and other words that rhyme with these two, you can just put them with this category. And remember that they would take the comparative form this way. And if you're using the superlative, all you have to do, let me get another color. All you have to do is just put al. That would make it superlative. Al-as'ab. And what we said, whether it's feminine or masculine, Nothing changes, both in the comparative and the superlative form. So I hope you learned how you can use it, and this is really one of the easiest way for you to remember. Group them in 4, group the adjectives in 4. Remember that the adjective has a different pattern than the rest of the comparative and superlative forms, okay? So I'll see you inshallah in upcoming videos. Assalamu alaikum.